In Buddhism, everyone has the Buddha nature. If you feel like you have a potential inside and you don't have that full potential out, we can also call that a bodhicitta quality, that you want to expand your full potential in a way.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about the bodhicitta qualities.
Okay.
With the 3 qualities.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean you want enlightenment because you want to become Buddha, but enlightenment also means you want more clarity, or I just feel like it's important in these days that we are not putting enlightenment to something not achievable.
Mm-hmm.
But in Buddhism, it's enlightenment. You have the ability or you have the need to reach enlightenment, or you want to reach enlightenment. So a bodhisattva is a person on this physical earth wanting to become enlightened or work with practicing enlightenment, very easily said. So we can ask ourselves, am I a king? And a king is thinking of himself, herself, and the kingdom. You want the best for your kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the boatsman.
The boatsman, yes.
Who have
who brings people from one place to the other. It's like the bridge.
Yes, the bridge. And the boatsman will bring other people with him, and it's a little bit more unselfish, if you're going to categorize it. And then you have the shepherd, and the shepherd is bringing the whole herd in front of him.
Yeah.
So if we're going to take that deeper, you can ask yourself, are you a king, or are you a boatsman, or a shepherd? Most people can think quickly, okay, I go into there and there. But if you're going to be very, very honest with yourself, you can think that you're a shepherd. But
they are kings.
Yes. Actually, in this term, it should have been a fourth, or a solo.
0 level. Yeah.
I feel like society now is brought up on the king's concept, and that is me and my family and my kid and okay, I'm not saying anything bad about family values, but if we had just loosened up a little bit, like back in the days, you had this quote saying it takes a village
to raise a kid, of course.
Yes, and in Norway it's very based around family, and even now with the corona situation and you're going to be isolated, it's even more restricted around family. But when you grow up in a family where it's like, this is us, families first, it's me, this is yours, this is my house, and you will inherit this house. I feel like that is on the king level.
Yeah, and also I see that with a lot of people on social media, where they present themselves as even the whole idea of followers, right? It's like they present themselves in a way that it looks like you need to do whatever this person does. And
to become happy or feel successful, you follow
me.
Follow that influencer.
In the yogic tradition, the connection will be to be an instructor, a teacher, or a master, because an instructor just gives you instructions and you follow him. A teacher uses examples to show you where you need to go, like the boatman. And the master, he just is. In the way that everything that he does is like opening you the way. A shepherd, I feel, doesn't want to become a guru. Of course, the shepherd teaches in the way and puts the limits about what is safe and what is not safe for the herd. But it's like putting your expectations or your levels under that. I believe that connecting that on how you choose the tantric path is super important. Now I am like sorting things in the marbles in the jar. Some people that maybe they enter in the place of the king because they enter for their own satisfaction. some people enter because they want to connect in a different way with a partner, so they enter in the role of the boatman. And some people go for the greater good, and that's the path of the shepherd.
Yes. This deserves. You're so good with words.
Thank you so much. I'm learning every day with this. I really like our recording sessions and our conversations and the questions from our great listeners, because it makes me question things. When we talk, we have this thing about the Hinduistic and the Buddhist path, and we think that they are like far apart. And it's so funny because when we start to talk about grandmothers and great grandmothers, it's like, okay, it's the same thing over there. The family tree gets sorted, and that is tantric. That is a road of unity. I really like it.
If you want to try to adapt this in your life and you ask yourself, am I a king or a boatsman or a shepherd? If you want to become a shepherd and you are already a teacher, then you have to be very, very, very honest with yourself. Because you can be teaching because you are feeding on the energy that you get from your students. Or you can be a leader and I think this is the nuances that are so tricky to discover and find if you want to go into this tantric path. When you can separate these different nuances, you just see them and it will affect your life. And it will affect how people look at you. But you have to be extremely honest with yourself. So the balance between being in front and then not putting your ego out there and this is me and I am special. You can still be in the front. That's not what I'm saying. But
in my mind, when you talked about the king and being a dancer and everything, something funny happened because it was like, okay, the dancer is on the stage and everyone is looking at the dancer. That would be the king. But the shepherd will be all the people are looking to the other side of the room and the dancer is behind them. And the dancer is inspiring people to walk forward and to do their own steps. Is in my mind, it was like, okay, everyone turned around and they are doing their own thing and they are doing the protagonists or the most important figures in their own path.
Yeah.
And this dancer is in the back on the stage pushing people forward in their own lives. It's like the anti-ego thing. I don't think it's just being on the stage or not, because I understand that to be a teacher, you need to capture the attention for some reason.
Yeah. Over the years, I have teachers coming in and then they are part of the whole community. I have 3 studios and they affect each other in some way. And inside one studio, they have a certain energy. And then you have the teacher creating a community.
Yeah.
And I can very clearly see which teachers that are in for the whole as a team or going in and creating their own tribe within the community.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are so aware of that, but I am super aware of that. Those who are creating their own little team within the community, maybe they are the one that wants to get most out of it, but they end up getting less because you separate yourself from the rest, but you get those fans that will adore you and it's you, but you're not part of the team. This is something that is extremely difficult to tell a person. Because it's very...
You mean that we tell a person, like tell a teacher when they are doing that?
Yeah. How would you tell a person that?
I believe that the road of the shepherd is the greater good. And the greater good requires some sort of renunciation. If you are there for the road of the shepherd, you need to say no to something. And you need to understand that that thing that you believe you are is not true. You are convincing yourself you're something that you are. It's like the difference of saying, I am Lucas and I am called Lucas. I am much more than my name. I am not that. And in my life, I've done a lot of things. I see a lot of people getting very attached to how bendy they are, how beautiful and tall they are, how they can drive brands behind them. So there is a brand of very famous stuff that calls you an ambassador because, and that is driving everything to sustain the person that you are right now. And the question that I usually make to these people is, are you inherently happy with who you are in your life right now? If your answer is yes, I have nothing to say. But if your answer is no, then something in the person that you are needs to go. Something needs to die. And in the road of the king, you are trying to sustain who you are as the families that you told and everything. So if you don't see a part of yourself that needs to die, then we are talking about something different. And usually when I refer this to happiness, like being really happy with what you're doing, you are happy, and people say, no, I would like more students. When people say that kind of thing, is like, okay, you are not happy, clearly, with what you're doing. Then something needs to die because this is not helping you go into the right path. You're being unhappy with something that you should be loving. You should love one student. You should love no students and do your practice yourself. You should love the amount of students, not because you are being in the center of the stage, it's because you are serving to a greater purpose.
Yeah, and when you have that greater good
everything
as a
guideline,
but I don't feel like you helped me or listeners for how can you understand yourself that you are a king or a boatman or a shepherd? Because even you mentioned Osho, right?
Yes.
Even Osho was illusioned by his own ego and needed that fame and fortune. And
Osho make a very good use of his ways of being a king. I believe that he was a shepherd unintentionally. He was a very good boatman.
Yeah, exactly.
But he made the best use that he could being a king, and he felt threatened by the people around him and everything.
Why I talk so much about it is because I see it so clearly in people. If they want to achieve something and they feel like they don't come to the next level, and to dare to open and not try to just serve your own plate or your own fans, even if you are a yoga teacher or a dance instructor or what kind of teacher you are. But when you trust, like, I mean, I can take you as an example. From day one when we work together, you have never been, you just trust that it's for the greater good. You just go along with the flow.
Yeah.
And I can see the difference between people that are just trusting in something. You want something with a higher purpose. You are not so concerned about even money. You are like, you say no to deals that I offer you that are more beneficial financially for you because you're like, yeah, but it's not really.
Because
but what I would say, you have you on one side that are just, you always go for the greater good, and it shows in every aspect of what you do. You can have other people asking about money on the first day, and I understand that, and it's natural. They want to know that they are worthy, or they are, sometimes it's not about your worth, but it's about what kind of relationship do we have, what kind of job, and so and so. But what I see is people that are concerned about their own plate or the amount of money they will make, or they think of themselves, they don't really get to fly that high. Or how can I say this without offend anyone? I can say very easy. You make a lot more money than the person that are just thinking about making a lot of money.
That is for sure. There was one saying that my grandmother, she was a Buddhist in nature, I think. She said, you give with an open hand and you will receive with both hands. And this teacher that I might not repeat his name, he said to me, the only way that you can move forward faster is that if you have a deeper relationship with more people, but not a relationship with more people, a deeper relationship with more people. And that means that you need to be very generous in what you give, because if you give little and you put yourself in the center of the stage, you're going to get a lot of attention, and you're going to show yourself, I am worthy, you need to come to me. And there are a lot of gurus that get in there. In India is super common. But the more generous and the more open-handed you are, there is a vulnerability there that makes people connect deeper with you. And that deeper connection makes your enlightenment come faster because you have more experiences, deeper experiences in a shorter amount of time. So for me, it doesn't make sense any other way. And you fall a lot of times, and when you go open-hearted to a lot of situations, you might feel heartbreak, right? Some teachers being not so sure that they know much and think that they are only going to be admired if they do things in a perfect way. And I don't think that serves them well. I think I gain more in the relationship with others, showing my own limitations. Every time I present myself to another person in a limited way, saying this is so much what I know and this is what I can share, then we become on the same level. And that is not the road of the king for sure. When you are putting yourself as I have something precious that I need to guard, then you are there for the road of the king. And it's fine, because I think that you need to go through that way to be able to move into the next one. This is why they are called levels of the bodhicitta. It's not just for...
Yeah, let's go back to the bodhicitta.
I think we are still in, because I think you need to go through that road to extort it, so nothing's left, and then you realize, okay, I didn't get what I wanted to get. There are lots of people that are in the verge of their graves and trying to bring a lot to their families, and their families are like, okay, now that you're going to die, we are not going to get more. They don't know how to get more. And when you see these teachers that dedicate themselves to teach and to make people aware of certain things, at one point they earn empty because they don't feel that what they are doing is paying them enough or making them feel protected. The only way that you can get that, being a teacher, is the road of the shepherd. I tell you this every time that happens. When I see one of our students realize something, and me being the witness of that moment of plop, of mini enlightenment, when people are like, okay, I got it. It gives me goosebumps. It's like, okay, this is wonderful. I am witnessing the transformation of a human being. And that for me is one of the greatest things that I can see. So, and I'm not benefiting. I am getting some benefit from that because that pays my bills. But beyond that, it's like, whoa, I could be here for hours. That road of learning and knowing that I learn from the experience of another person discovering their own path, that for me is everything. If you are in there for that, then I think you are on the road of the shepherd.
Yeah. I have this...
But I had been in the road of the king. Oh, pay attention to that. I said it like very quickly, but I had been in that place. I worked in the corporate world. I wanted to be a CEO. I wore expensive suits. I tried to get like an expensive Swiss watch, and I was like a show off.
When you were wearing that suit and you wanted a watch, do you remember if you felt like that was part of your self-value?
I remember that I felt unhappy as hell. That I was like, okay, I'm doing everything that people said I should do to become a happy person that was being successful, I guess. And I felt deeply unhappy. I couldn't be myself. My family saw me as like, okay, finally, you are making sense and you're doing something big and you are being important in...
I want to have an episode on that.
Okay.
Because I also came from the corporate world. But to end this
bodhicitta way.
Yes. What I try to discuss with you here is you also see the difference between a person that is feeding their own ego. We can use the word
Yes.
ego now.
Yeah, we can.
I think that is the right term. Feeding their own ego
Mm-hmm.
and doing it for the higher good.
Yeah.
And I think to find out that in yourself is very, very hard.
I think that the only way to discover that is when you get out of the circle of cause and consequence.
Mm.
When you do things to get something in exchange, you are like in a karmatic circle because it's cause, consequence, cause, consequence. But when you go and do this for the greater good, you are like in an arrow, you move forward. So it has to be selfless.
But I mean, when we live in the Western world, we always have some part of selfish aspect of what we do, right? This is something I discuss with my teacher all the time. Like, why do you stay there in your cave when you can achieve so much more here?
But to be able to move forward, you have to be selfless in some way. There is no way that you will move forward like crawling with your hands and teeth. Because like me. There is no way. Because you need to feed from the experiences that other people have also. Consciousness exists in interaction. And interaction doesn't exist if you force people on you.
Mm.
There is no way.
But how can you discover when you enter a room and you are, like I tried to mention, even Osho didn't manage that. You get all this attention and then you walk out of the room and something tells you that, oh, that was me, you know. It's something in me that made these people understand something. That is, and to come to that level where you don't feel that at all, I think that is pretty hard to get to that level.
You need to get your ego crushed and realize that what you think you are is not valuable.
If you want to achieve big things in life, I think you can come very far with the king's mind when you are feeding your own little kingdom and yourself and your fans. I think you can come pretty far. But coming back to the tantric path, it's all about serving for the greater good.
And
I
connecting,
think
and connecting with others. Even if you get to the boatman's road, you need to be able to connect with another person and you using that relationship as a vehicle to move forward.
Yeah. When you have that in the back of my mind, and now maybe you know a little bit more about the reason why people practice Tantra to enlighten mankind, if you can use that word. Maybe it's easier then to understand why someone is choosing this path and try to live from this path.
There is a phrase that I repeat a lot in my podcast in Spanish that is, when someone heals, everyone heals.
Yeah.
And that I see. When I see someone sharing their life story and their healing story, we learn from that.
And that it takes a village.
Yeah, and it takes a village.
So if you're a teacher, next time if you enter the room, you can just ask yourself, am I doing this to show people how much knowledge I have? Or do I go in here and I just want to share from a space where I want this knowledge to come to the world, regardless of who I am and everyone? Yeah.
Awesome. I will do that.
Me too. We have each other that tells you, Lucas,
Kim,
watch after yourself.
Watch out.
Is this for the greater good? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.